I'd like to introduce our speakers today. Joining me on the call, Mark Cooper from the ITRC, is Lisa Kidder, Ryan Randall, and Cathy Levitt. And today we're going to talk about start packing up your Moodle course now. From Moodle to Canvas is a lot like moving into a new home. You wouldn't just throw everything into a box without sorting through things first. So for this webinar, we'll walk you through how to pack up your Moodle course for a smooth Canvas transition. We'll do so by talking about what you could do right now and why you should start in Moodle before going over into Canvas, what to do to clean up that Moodle course before you send it over to Canvas, and what won't transfer automatically. So talking a little bit about where to start. And as we said, you want to start now. You don't want to wait until right before the fall semester. So taking small steps each week will make your transition to Canvas a lot smoother. And we have a Canvas transition webpage. And think of this as your one-stop shop for everything related to ISU's transition over to Canvas. And everything that you need to make that transition smooth and successful. One of the resources that we have on that page is the transition packing list. And we've put together this handy packing list to help you decide what to take, what to leave behind, and how to stay organized. So when you want to just download a copy, and that'll go into your Google Drive of the Canvas transition packing list. And finally, you want to start in Moodle. So before moving your course to its new home in Canvas, you'll want to declutter and pack everything up efficiently. And so Ryan's going to explain why starting in Moodle will make the transition much smoother for you. Go ahead, Ryan.
Great. Thank you, Mark. So what you would want to do first is actually what I would highly recommend is that you start by requesting a special Moodle course. If you can see the image, that's the relevant part of our lovely ISU forms page. There are many other forms that you can find on there, but I highlighted just the ones about Moodle. It's the second of those links in those 3 line items. The reason that you would want to have a second special course just for this is so that you don't have to worry about actually affecting any important student data. You don't want to worry about using a course from the past and accidentally deleting something that you need because there's student data there, or the same thing with the live course if you're using the current course that you're using with students right now. So highly recommend that just for peace of mind for yourself and for your students, make yourself a separate working space just for sort of streamlining your course. We thought about this almost as like if you have a really big house with lots of stuff and you're going to be downsizing, some people might even rent a storage space as a processing zone. I put that link to the forms page in the Zoom chat, by the way, for people attending today. And now to talk a little bit more about why you would actually want to do that besides just making sure that you're not affecting live student data. Moodle, you can have a lot of things in there, both in terms of age. If you've been teaching a while, you might have more than 10 years of things that you've accumulated. You might not be using them every semester, every time you teach the course, but you might have accumulated a lot of different versions of questions in your question bank, a lot of outdated quizzes. Unfortunately, Canvas only lets you import 500 megabytes. That's the biggest that a course can be. And so, especially if you have a lot of large files, for instance, if you have a lot of videos inside of your Moodle course, that could make it so you physically cannot bring them all in. That's one of the reasons you'd want to offload large videos and other large files to things like Panopto, our new video streaming platform. And also, Canvas does have some features has differences about how it does certain activities to Moodle. So some of the things that you have available to you in Moodle don't have a direct equivalent. And on the Canvas Transition website, you'll see the list of the Moodle to Canvas equivalences between the activities. And so if you're using certain things, such as if you use the database, if you use a glossary, some of those things have no equivalents. Others just work a little bit differently, like attendance works a little bit differently. But you'll need to think about which of those are worth trying to keep. Most of those, if they don't have an equivalent, go ahead and get rid of them. You'll have to do some sort of reproducing them on the Canvas side of things. And then finally, this will help create a better Canvas experience, both for you and your students. It'll clean up primarily the navigation, both for you as you're maintaining and reorganizing your course. And then eventually, once you start inviting students into this new place, it'll be better for them. We're still doing some of the testing for exactly how quizzes and question banks come over, because there's many different ways people can organize those in Moodle. Moodle really loves the idea of nesting conceptually or having lots of categories. And we're still figuring out when those persist in an import and when Canvas gets rid of them. But in general, Canvas really likes to flatten things. That's the main lesson that we have learned through all of our different testing. So if you do a lot of sort of nesting or a lot of uses of categories, we've had professors realize that they have years of duplicated versions of a question bank. So now they'll have one question, but they have to scroll through that one question 30 or 40 times. And that's for each question in their question bank. So if you have many multiples like that, please do yourself a favor and get rid of them in Moodle before you start bringing all of that unnecessary duplication over into Canvas. So up next, Cathy is going to tell us more about some of the other types of cleanup that we'll want to do in Moodle.
Thank you, Ryan. So to clean up in your Moodle course, you'll want to delete anything that is duplicated, whether it's because you've duplicated because you've changed something slightly, or you've changed the directions in an activity. So anything that's duplicated that you don't need, whether it's an activity, a file, or a video, get rid of those. It will just save you some space. Any unused files, things that you think, well, I'm going to save that for later and use it later. If you haven't used it by now, you're probably not going to use it later, so get rid of that. We want this, like Ryan said, to be as streamlined as possible because of the 500 megabyte limit. So the big, like Ryan mentioned, the biggest cleanup is going to happen probably in your question bank and your question categories. So you'll want to go through and delete any categories that have 0 questions in them. You'll also want to look through the question and delete different versions. Moodle, when you go in and change a question, every time you change a question, it saves another version of that question. So if you've gone in and edited a question like 12 times, you could have 12 to 13 different versions of that question. And that's how many times it will be duplicated in Canvas. So we want to make sure we clean out those versions, and we clean out those categories, and we organize very clearly and as flatly, like Ryan said, as we can, our question banks. And if you refer back to the packing list on our Canvas Transition site, there are some previous Wednesday webinars that have covered this topic. The next thing you'll want to do is run the Accessibility Plus toolkit and use the wizards to fix as many of the issues within your Moodle course for accessibility. Next, Lisa will talk about how to pack up and what to pack up.
Thank you, Cathy. As Cathy mentioned on the packing list, we have links to resources. So first thing I'm going to talk about is your videos go in Panopto. So on the packing list, when it says, do you have videos in your class? There's a link right there that takes you straight to our playlist that walks you through how to do that. So that packing list really is kind of your guide in how to pack things up. Videos are the biggest culprit right now. You want to make sure that you get your videos in Panopto. Another thing that you will kind of pack uniquely is your external tools or the LTIs. So if you use online proctoring, Zoom, GoReact, Edfinity, a publisher tool, those are all integrations that we put into the learning management system, and they're waiting for you in Canvas. But it's a new home, so you need to reconnect your utilities. So just because you have your internet provider through the same provider, when you get to your new house, you have to make a call and say, this is where I'm at now. Same thing works with the LTIs and these external tools. In terms of packing up, once you have a clean course, you're going to be able to create a Moodle backup using the tools within Moodle. You may want to pack up in kind of different boxes. One advice would be to pack up your quizzes and question bank a little bit differently, depending on if you have a large question bank or, as has been mentioned, you have categories in your question bank. There may be some smaller boxes that you can move over those questions to make them more manageable in the Canvas interface. So if you use a lot of quizzes, you have a large question bank, I would say anything over 250 questions. If you use a publisher question bank, there's no reason to pull it straight from Moodle. The publisher has a Canvas ready version that you can pull those publisher questions directly from the publisher into Canvas without issues. Sometimes you might pack the box into different categories like this file box here, and sometimes you might just go back to the original source and pull those questions in from there. Everything else can be packed up in your Moodle backup. So again, your packing list, which is on the Canvas Transition website. It's on the second tab if you have that open. Under How is Different is Canvas, it says Preparing Your Moodle Course. We're going to update that so it says Packing List. And that will walk you through so you can evaluate what you have and what needs to be done.
If you would like to learn more about Canvas, Moodle, Panopto, any other services that we provide and support in the university, you can access a number of different resources that we've compiled over the years. So we have our Tiger Tracks articles, which are step-by-step how-to guides on how to do things. We also have our Wednesday webinar video library. So every Wednesday when we conduct these webinars, we record them, edit them, and place them up on our video library. And as Lisa shared, the Panopto ones, we have a variety of other topics as well. And here is a list. If you click on this link, simply by highlighting the QR code in the upper right-hand corner, you can access our schedule. It's also available on the ITRC webpage, where you can find out what we're doing moving into the spring semester. If you want to meet with us in the ITRC, you have a number of ways that you can do that. You can email us at itrc@isu.edu. You can call us at 208-282-588. Come visit us in the ISU library. We're in the lower level, the basement level in room B17. We'd love to see you. Or you can schedule an on-demand appointment, and we do those by Zoom, phone, or in person. Future Wednesday webinars, you can watch for those in the ISU Today, just like probably many of you have already with this webinar and past webinars. We'll continue to advertise there. And you can also check out the Canvas Transition website. Lisa posted a link to that Canvas Transition website earlier. We recommend that you bookmark this. This is the one-stop shop, the place where all of your Canvas questions and answers and resources and training are located. So if you're having any issue with getting your Canvas courses over, you can access that site and get help, as well as contact us. So we'd like to thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you have a great day.